Hi, I'm Papia. In this problem, we will have to compute the amount of annuity when we have an income function, given interest rate, and for a certain term. So this is another application of definite integrals, how you can use integral to compute amount of annuity. All right, so the income function is right here, C of t is $250, and interest rate is given to be 8%, and the term is 6 years. So let's first recall, how do we compute amount of annuity? And the formula for that is, it is e to the power, r is the rate, times the term, and then you integrate from 0 to the term t, and inside the integral you will have the function c of t, e to the power negative r small t dt. So that is the setup. Now we just have to plug in all the different information that's given to us, and then we solve the integral and we'll have our answer. Now remember, for the rate, we don't keep it as 8%, we change it in decimal. So 8% is 0.08. So you're going to use that for r. Okay, so let's plug everything in for this particular problem. So outside the integral, we will have the rate e to the power 0.08 times t is 6. And then the limits of integration will be 0 to 6. C of t is 250. And e to the power negative r is 0.08 t dt. Remember, this is the variable t, this is not the term t. Okay, so we have everything. We just find the antiderivative. So if you want, you can simplify a little bit here. 6 times 0.08, that is 6 times 8, so 48. So this is 0.48. And you can pull out 250 outside the integral. And then you will just have to integrate the exponential function. All right, so we'll calculate that later using a graphing utility. So we'll have 250 times e to the 0.48. Now, do you remember how to integrate an exponential function? See, the antiderivative of an exponential function is itself, but we also have to be a little bit careful because, see, this is not just e to the t. It's e to the power a constant times t. And therefore, you will have to divide by that constant. It's the chain rule. Okay, so this is times e to the negative 0.08 t divided by negative 0.08. That's the antiderivative. And then you plug in 6 and 0 into that function. Okay. So this is 250 times e to the 0.48 divided by negative 0.08. That's the constant. I'm combining all the constants. And then I'm going to plug in 6 into t and then 0 into t and subtract. So we'll have e to the power negative 0.08 times 6 minus, look, when you plug in 0 for t, you get e to the power 0. And e to the power 0 is just 1. So you will have minus 1 here. All right, so let's figure out what the final amount is using a graphing utility. So plug everything in, 250 times e to the 0.48 divided by, remember there's a negative sign here, negative 0.08, and then everything multiplied to e to the negative 0.08 times 6, which is negative 0.48, minus 1. Okay, and I get about 1925.23. Okay, so that's the amount of annuity that when you have an income of $250 at this interest rate of 8% for 6 years. That completes the problem. Thank you.